Hopefully we are good to go. Alright, I guess I am live. Hello everyone, I am Allegro, and yeah, we're gonna do some Sonic Heroes. Team Sonic. Alright, so I guess we can count off here. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so Sonic Heroes. We're going to be... This game is basically about teamwork. We got a speed character, flight character, and a power character. We're going to pretty much control all of them at once. Sort of. We can just swap between characters on the fly. Speed characters, they're fast. And flight, they'll just give us a nice little boost in the air. And Knuckles, who's a power character, he's gonna let us punch things. There's a bit more intricacies and whatnot, but yeah. So fly here, I can just kind of do a boost up in the air. And with Sonic, I can kind of charge up with a roll and then start up a Rocket Excel. And so, yeah. So, every time I hit a checkpoint there, I'm going to be picking up Power Core, which basically levels up my characters. It provides me various upgrades throughout the stage. So yeah. Right here, just got a trolley section, bit of an auto-scroller and whatnot. So yeah. Wow, didn't get that there. If I had kicked at the right time, I'd been able to get a bit of a boost up there. So, my teammates can be a bit fickle when it comes to trying to get a fully charged Rocket Excel, and sometimes they can do it whenever I don't exactly want one. So it can be a bit of a nuisance throughout this whole game. But yeah, there's not too much to say about this stage. Though there's one little technique right here. If I try to do a fire dunk, or at least try to set up a fire dunk, my characters will just kind of orbit midair there. It'll just let me break through rocks pretty quickly. So yeah, back to another little bobsled section here. It's a nice little short break. So right here I'm just going to jump over the speed boost because it'll just lock my speed, and I'll just kind of hop out of the loop there. And right here I'm just going to try and transfer speed here by swapping the Knuckles first, because if I were to swap to Tails immediately, sometimes I'll just kind of skid and just kind of lose all my momentum. So yeah. You'll see me do that a lot throughout the run, just swapping the Knuckles and then immediately swapping the Tails, just to preserve momentum. Alright, so this next stage, which is Ocean Palace, it is quite broken. We're going to be using a technique called bot boosting, which we'll see a couple times throughout the run. Yeah, it's a somewhat difficult technique to pull off, but yeah, if I miss it, it's going to cost me about 30 seconds, because it can instantly kill me if I'm not careful, but hopefully that won't happen. This is a stage I tend to not have too much trouble with, but yeah. So yeah, This stage is somewhat straightforward up until I get up to the bot boost. And I'll probably explain that right after I get it, because that trick is a bit difficult to explain. It'll probably make a bit more sense after I do it. Alright, so right here, I'm just gonna lure a robot over here. We're just gonna set up the bot boost. So I need to stun the robot. Uh-oh. Unfortunately, that's what killed me. So that's gonna lose me a lot of time there. But what was going to happen there was I would need to knock off Sonic out of flight formation, the same frame that I land back on the ground. And that will trick the game into thinking that Sonic is still in flight formation. And it does some weird stuff. You try to put yourself in front of a wall, and it'll just kind of send you quite a ways away. But for safety here, I'm just going to kind of skip out and doing it again. We're just going to actually visit the turtles. Because I do not want to fail that again. Now, I don't exactly remember how to go through this normally. So this is going to be a bit interesting. Alright. So this is about where I'd normally want to land with a bot boost, but unfortunately this game is a bully. Fortunately, several of the other bot boosts throughout the run aren't as vicious, so I will be doing the rest of them throughout the run. So if I do a blue tornado right there, I can just kind of hop up against the wall, and it'll just give me a little bit of a boost there. I've been doing that a couple times. A few other spots. Yeah, this chase sequence, at the very start I do not want to do any kicks, or else the rock will just kind of slingshot at me. So yeah, that was Ocean Palace. Unfortunately, could not get the bot boost, but there are plenty of different opportunities to show it off. So coming up here is the first boss of the game, Egghawk. Normally you're supposed to kind of just chase him down, and just kind of an infinite stretch, but we're not going to do that. We're going to do something a little different. So right here, I'm going to turn around and hit this invincibility box. Okay, I'm going to have to set this back up again. Now we'll wait around here. So yeah, if I just kind of stop him right there, he'll just kind of hit the center beach. And I can just kind of chain a bunch of fire dunks at him. Unfortunately, that wasn't very optimal, because I wasn't able to break the box fast enough.
for the junk pile.
Okay, so Grand Metropolis. So this stage's gimmick is that they're just kind of escalator-like floors everywhere. They can be a bit glitchy from time to time, and if I rub up against the wall, I will lose a lot of momentum, but that hopefully won't happen. So right there with the light dash, if I swap the knuckles in the middle of the dash, I'll preserve a lot more momentum. Now you can just kind of transfer the speed back to Sonic, and I'll just go really, really fast. Also, that can happen for whatever reason. So this is the first time in the run where levels actually matter. And I want to get a level 3 Sonic, which gives him wind properties, which allows him to latch to poles and remove shields from enemies. So we're picking up a second level here. And I also want to try and pick up a level 1 Tails to make a trick a little bit easier to set up. But there's no guarantee that I'd be able to get it. Oh. So, okay, I got a level 1 Tails there, so this is pretty optimal. At least level-wise. Movement-wise, that's a bit of a different story. But yeah, I can pick up a level 3 capsule here for Sonic. We're just gonna destroy that shield. Alright, so I'm gonna try and stun this robot, and we're gonna try and do a bot boost. Alright, so hopefully this works. And yeah, that's how a bot boost works. At least that's how bot boosts should play out. That happens to be probably one of the shortest bot boosts in the run, so it doesn't save that much time, but it's cool. So this is the first example of rails. You're gonna see me kind of rapidly switching between Sonic and Knuckles. It doesn't exactly make me faster, but it gets me to my top speed much faster if I rapidly swap between those two characters. So yeah, that's pretty much Grand Metropolis in a nutshell. And that's a bit strange. I'd never actually get that high up on there. But yeah, 240 is a pretty decent time.
Barely made it.
Alright, so coming up is Power Plant. This is a pretty fun stage. It's probably one of the hardest stages to learn in the run, but so this stage can either go really well or really poorly, but hopefully it'll go pretty well. You're going to be seeing a lot of use of tails in this stage. Mainly I need to concentrate on getting a level 2 Tails before reaching the first elevator in this stage. So that's an example of what Tails is going to be doing. I'm just going to be trying to carry his momentum throughout the stage. Alright, so that's our first core for Tails. So here's a little trick here. I'm going to try and do a boost on the ground. This little pod here. If I do it on the very first frame of landing, I'll be able to get an extra boost. And I'll be able to get an extra flight out. So it lets me, it gets me a bit of distance upwards. So kind of boost over here. carry on momentum up here, and we're gonna try and kill that turtle, but that's going to be a bit random. Oh. There we go. So coming up is the very first elevator, and the main reason why I needed level 2 tails. I needed to kill these robots in order for the elevator to continue going upwards, or else I'll be stuck there. If I had anything less than level 2, tails would just end up stunning them rather than destroying them, so it'd be kind of slow to just do anything else. Alright. This stage kind of loops in... I wouldn't say loops, but it repeats a few sections. I carry our momentum up here again. Okay. Had just enough distance to work with. Oh. That was my bad. I'm gonna try and do this again. Jumped a little too early. There we go. Alright, so... I'm gonna hop up here, try and fly up to this rail. And I also need to be very careful and not thundershoot there like I just did, or else the door will actually slam shut and it'll kind of trap me. Thankfully I can actually do a door clip and just kind of clip past it, but that's kind of annoying to do. It's just better not to thundershoot there. So yeah, just did that that floor glitch again to get another boost. That didn't really save any time, it's just kind of cool to do. It's much easier to kind of do it on very... you can do this on any surface, but it's much easier to do on this moving elevator and on crates. Alright, so we're coming up to probably a somewhat infamous part of this run. Well, not this run, but of this stage. And that's kind of a lava chase section, where the lava's just kind of crawling up. A lot of people tend to die on this section, but it's just make sure you pace yourself and go up. It's nothing much to it. Most people have always had problems with this casually. There's another section later in the run that people tend to have problems with casually, but that's for later. And that's power plant. Let's see, 450 is not a great time, but because I can get like 430s and whatnot, but there's so many things that can go wrong in that stage. But yeah. So this is the very first team battle. We're gonna be facing off against one of the other teams, which is, in this case, it's Team Rose. Team fights can be pretty inconsistent, but there's some pretty consistent setups.
Are you playing with that girl's heart again, Sonic? Take this.
But yeah, Team Rose tend to give me some good RNG there. Optimally, I would like to see Tails' Thundershoot to just kind of kill them all at once, but that's highly unlikely that would happen. It would just mean that most of the it would either be like Cream and Amy would be knocked off, but Big would still be alive. It's very rare that Amy would still be alive. It's extremely rare that all three would be dead from one Thundershoot.
Boy, Amy sure doesn't give up that easy.
But yeah.
What is this place?
So
Sure is bright.
now we're on to the casino stages. And these can be either the easiest stages or some... This would be rather frustrating. But here we got a bit of tech here. I'm going to try and explain this after I do it. So yeah, I just launched myself up high in the air. Basically what happens is once Tails is way below, I'm going to try and... I would normally try and punch the pinball table, and it would cause Tails to go flying way past me. And since Knuckles is on the pinball table, basically all the teammates would be separated, so that means I could control Tails. And that means since Tails is sent way up into the air, I can just kind of control him once he gets way high up, and allows me to just kind of bypass a lot of this stage. And I'm going to do it again right here. This one's a bit more tricky at the time, but I got it. And we're going to be seeing this in the next stage, but to a much crazier degree. But I'll show that off later. And this is pretty much the only pinball table I'll be truly dealing with. Right there, and we just made it past. So yeah, normally you're supposed to hit a switch to go into this VIP area, but you can just kind of clip through the lasers. I'm just going to use this as a shortcut to get to the end. I'm just going to kind of drop down to the end. There's no kill planes or anything down here. And that's Casino Park.
That was tight.
This game was pretty mixed when it first came out. A lot of people tend to either really love it or really hate it, because this game does have some very wonky physics that you'll see casually. And you can just have some very, very unfair deaths casually, and even when I'm doing runs. But right here, this is probably one of the craziest stages you'll ever see in this run. Hopefully everything goes according to plan here. But basically I'm going to be skipping pretty much most of the stage, assuming I get everything aligned here.
Leave them to me, Sonic.
Okay, everything should be set up here. So I'm going to try and explain this after, because this is something I want to make sure I get this right on first try. Okay, 43. I'm just going to concentrate here for a moment. Bounce, just be safe. Okay, hopefully that should have worked. Okay, so basically what happened is I basically did a another sort of pinball launch, but basically what happens is I try to force Tails to not respawn, and when I punch the pinball table, and that basically stores Tails way off into the distance, and doing some complicated movements and whatnot, I'm able to just kind of push him along, and I'll be able to reunite with him. And I'll be right at the end of the stage. And there we are. Aerial bingo time. And that's pretty much the entire stage. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the bingo chip, the bingo chips. But yeah, that just skips a lot of nonsense through that stage. It's very... There's a lot of points where you could easily die in that stage if you were to just go through it normally. So right here, I'm going to try and mash B, and I'm going to... there's another chance I could do this glitch, but I'll kind of save it for later. The point is, I was going to try and hit the B button on a very specific frame, and something delightful would normally happen. But there's no guarantee I can get that. So this is just basically an enemy rush, and I want to get level 2 Tails first, then a level 2 Knuckles. Okay, I got a level 1 Tails and a level 1 Knuckles. That's okay, but it makes this cycle a bit slow. And unfortunately, I did not get the power core that I wanted, which is fine, I guess. It just makes each succeeding set a bit slower, and unfortunately, I'm not getting good RNG here. This is really the only sort of RNG in this run. So, I'm trying to get level 2 Knuckles, but unfortunately, I'm not getting good RNG here. I want to... Okay, I never fully explained this mechanic, but it's... Whenever you defeat 5 enemies, you'll get a power core. But you cannot get a power core that you... from the character that you just defeated the 5th enemy on. It's kind of similar to how Zelda 1 works, I guess. That's the only comparison I can really put up. With that, it's like 10th enemy has the bomb or whatever. But yeah, level 2 Knuckles can basically destroy the playing field. Unfortunately, this wasn't exactly a great exhibition of how well that would turn out.
Don't get too excited, boys. Those were the easy ones. All right.
But yeah, that was a pretty terrible Robot Carnival.
What a waste.
So, for this next stage, we're going to be going back to Rails, and we're going to do another bot boost. And this is probably my favorite stage in the entire game. A lot of people tend to hate this stage because Rails can be rather finicky when you're trying to switch between them, but it's really down to just kind of pressing A and hitting right at the correct time.
Tails, Knuckles, give it all you got. Full speed ahead.
Got it. When grinding, use the B button to accelerate.
Unfortunately, I didn't get enough speed, a lot of speed there, but I can still make it.
Here you go. What a view.
That's just a little slow.
Keep your eyes on the rail, Sonic.
Also, shouts to this music, it's really good.
I'll take care of them.
So I'm going to set up on this robot here. That was a bad angle. And there we go. We just skipped a good chunk of the stage, probably a fourth of it. But yeah, that's the power of bot boosting.
Here we go.
Got it.
And fun fact, that's Rail Canyon's the only stage where every team has a bot boost. And it's on the exact same robot.
You want a race?
And actually, this is Rail Canyon is the only stage where you can do 2 bot boosts that are worthwhile, but that's only with Team Chaotix. So Fortunately, can't show that off here, since Team KX actually goes down a different path. So I'm gonna knock off Knuckles there. Just try to get on top of the train and just kind of hop up here.
Leave them to me, Sonic.
But yeah, just gonna be holding B here. That's really all I'm doing. So hop up here, do a few changes. I'll get enough speed to go up here. And there we go. This is pretty much the end of Rail Canyon.
All right.
Fun fact, if you do the glide there at the wrong time, basically if Sonic and Tails try to come back to Knuckles and they hit the Rhinos the same time you hit the goal ring, you will instantly die at the start of the next stage. Which is it's very rare that you'll see that, but it's very funny when it happens. I highly doubt I got that to happen, but it would have been funny to show this off. But yeah, that didn't happen, thankfully.
I guess we're heading in the right direction.
So this is Bullet Station. It is sometimes the bane of my existence, sometimes it isn't. It's a pretty fun stage overall, but there's just so many things that can easily kill you if you're not careful. So if I were to just do a kick randomly, sometimes I'll just fall through the floor there. So I always have to be careful with my movement. Oh, I did not hop up in time. But yeah, right here they try to force you to do these rail changes on these color-coded rails, but we're just going to kind of skip that. Just kind of jump off the rail. So I'm going to try and go for a swag strat here. Really saves no time. Swag! But yeah. So right here, you're normally supposed to split up and put your characters there with Knuckles, but you can just kind of use Sonic's wind physics from a full Rocket Excel to kind of activate all the switches. And putting Knuckles in the cannon right there, just for some reason, lets me clip through the door. It's very strange. So the thing about Bullet Station is this stage is on a global timer. With every 3 seconds the cannons will fire. So I did not hit an optimal cannon cycle there. I would have wanted to get like a 127, which is about as good as you can get, though you can get like a 124 if you're lucky. PC version of this game, though, is a different story. I'll probably talk about the PC version a bit later, but I do want to pay attention to this stage. So just kind of rail switch off here and just kind of gently float down. So right here, there's a good chance I could die here if I'm not careful. But I'm gonna try and go for fast struts. Okay, didn't die. And yeah, light dashes can be very funky if you do them in a weird way. So there I wanted to avoid hitting the springs because you'll just get flung high up. Now you can just jump over the switch and you can just kind of avoid the path because the path is always there. So this is actually the trickiest bobsled section in the entire game. It's even harder than the super hard mode, which is unlocked after getting all the A ranks in the game. So it's very strange that Team Sonic has the hardest one when Team Dark is supposed to be the hardest team and whatnot. So right here I'm going to try and do a glide with Knuckles, but unfortunately I did not time that right. So instead I'm going to do a door clip. And this is generally where Bullet Station would come to a halt, but thankfully I clipped through the door fast enough.
Straight ahead of us. All right, here we go.
So right here I'm going to be getting a sub 4-minute time, so that's pretty good for Bullet Station. Not great, but it's good. But optimally, I would have liked to get a glide from Knuckles that would have sent me high up into the air, and I would have just basically flown past the invisible wall. That would just landed right in front of the cannon. So coming up is Egg Albatross, and this is a pretty frustrating boss because you can easily get shot down by robots or get shot down by the third phase of this fight if you're not careful.
There's only one way to go.
So I'm just gonna try and just punch with Knuckles. So you can just kind of punch with Knuckles at a standstill if you just don't hold the control stick. Also, if I'm not careful there, I can actually just kind of clip out and he'll just force me out the out over the edge. So yeah, I'm gonna try and do a fire dunk here.
Is that it?
And there we go. If I weren't careful there, he would just shoot me down and I'd probably fall to my doom.
All right.
But thankfully he was being nice. A lot of the Eggman mech fights, well, all three of the Eggman mech fights really require you to just kind of allow him to chase you down instead of you chasing him down. And we'll see that as from the final boss, but I'm not going to spoil the final boss of how that plays out, because it's, ooh boy, I like that fight, and it's very interesting. So Frog Forest, this one's a bit more complicated, but it's we're going to be doing another bot boost, and it's going to be a crazy looking one, kind of like the Rail Canyon and, well, what would have been Ocean Palace. Just kind of hop off the rail here, and it skips a whole section down there. So I'm going to try and line up with this robot's cannon. And there we go, that should be good. Yep. Alright, now I just need to make sure I land. And we're pretty much at the very end of the stage right here. So yeah, bot boosting, as you can tell, is very, very broken. So right here I'm going to try and do a glide, but unfortunately I did not get it. But with the speed shoes, I could actually get a lot of speed in the air, and since I can transfer a lot of speed into a glide, I could actually skip this whole vine section by just doing a really huge glide over to the goal ring. But unfortunately, that can be a bit tricky to time. But yeah, the community actually calls that trick the triple titty glide. But no triple titty glide for me. So, Lost Jungle. Not a whole lot to say on this stage. There's no crazy tricks to really be had except for a laser clip down the line, so yeah, pretty chill stage, but I need to make sure I pick up a level 2 Knuckles. before a certain section where I need to kill a bunch of robots. Alright. But, yeah, this stage's gimmick is that you've got these black frogs. Whenever they see you, the plant life will just kind of die around it. So, you don't want that... Well, you can't really do too much about it, but... So right here I'm going to try and do a skip. Alright, good. So, I never explained what I'm doing there, but basically, if I were to start a kick before I hit a ledge... Oh... That is actually interesting. I've never actually died to something like that. But yeah, if I were to start a kick before I leave the ledge, I can just basically jump out of it. And it allows me to... it lets me get extra jumps over pretty long gorges and whatnot. What happened with the ramp is that if you kind of jump at it at a very strange angle, you can lose all your speed. So right here I'm going to show off this little trick. It's a Team Blast glitch, where I'm basically filling up my Team Blast meter just by swapping to pressing X and B on the exact same frame. It just kind of puts the game into a very weird state where it's trying to do a million, like, thunder shoots. It just fills up my Team Blast gauge by a significant amount. That's not normally where I do that. That's just in case I die, which I did die. And whenever you die, you lose all your levels. So yeah, I wanted to use level 2 Knuckles and just kind of beat the crap out of those robots, but unfortunately, I don't have that anymore. And, okay. There's just so much going on there, but I got another laser clip. Oop. Oh, I do want tails. That's very much necessary. So yeah, those crab enemies can be very annoying. But yeah, laser clips can happen from various ways. You can do... I can't speak today. But you can do laser clips in various amount of ways. And now here is the infamous crocodile section. A lot of people like to do this section in a rhythm, but it's really down to just the height of the vine. There is a rhythm to it, sort of, but it kind of tapers off at a certain point and gets really offbeat, so you never want to have a rhythm for this. But yeah, that's Lost Jungle. Unfortunately, that death had to happen, but stuff happens in this game. I'll actually say that has happened before, but that glitch has happened before, but it not in that spot. It can happen on pretty much any ramp. I just happen to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. So now we're coming up on our second team fight, which is Team Dark. I'm going to do a kind of an alternate strat here. Normally I just try to thunder shoot them off the stage, but I'm going to do something a little fancy. Unfortunately that messed up. I want to show this off. Well, okay, what I was going to actually do was what I was trying to do was do a fire dunk, and the frame before it hits the ground, I would restart. And it basically killed Team Dark instantly. But when I did the restart, Team Dark actually gave me good luck, and I just took advantage of the thunder shoot when I could. So Gotta go fast.
I saw Shadow and Eggman head this way. This has gotta be the right way.
But it's so spooky here.
So, Hang Castle.
The ghost of Shadow.
We're gonna see another bot boost, and we're gonna see a door clip, a bot boost, and, well, that's pretty much it, but we're gonna see a lot of different things. This stage is significantly cut down because of the bot boost that's going to happen a bit later down the line.
What's going on?
I guess you'll need one, Boix. It's... These next two stages are nice and spoopy.
Ah! We're turning upside down again.
We're back to normal now.
Leave it to me. Let's go.
Alright, so we're just gonna clip past this door. Normally, the game wants you to go down that hole,
Ready?
Leave it to me.
and you'd normally be be sent through, like, not a maze, but it's like you'd be flipping the castle upside down all over the time. Whoop, I want to hit that checkpoint just to be safe. But yeah, it just skips a lot of nonsense. Just flipping the castle upside down over again.
Let's go.
Ooh, where am I? Okay. I was actually worried I missed the switch there.
What's going on?
Oh yeah. They want you to go down this rail? Nah. We're just gonna jump down here. Just skip a lot of platforming. And we're gonna do another bot boost. This is arguably the easiest one. So if anyone ever wants to learn how to run this game and wants to know how bot boost works, that is the easiest bot boost to do in the game. Because it's pretty much free. Just get your enemy, get Sonic bopped off. You don't even have to, like, do an extra... Oof. I love getting hit by these spike balls, by the way. But, yeah, that's pretty much the easiest bot boost to pull off. And I'm not prone to hitting those very often. That's very strange.
Yes.
But yeah, that's Hang Castle.
Too easy.
Alright, so coming up to the next spoopy level, and that's Mystic Mansion. This used to be probably my least favorite stage to run, but now it's basically the ending of Mystic Mansion was going to be either a make or break for this run, because there's just a whole section where you just had to do a bunch of crazy, kind of crazy tricks. If you messed them up, you would lose a lot of time, basically. And we're pretty much at the end of... We're down the final stretch here, so... It's kind of disheartening if something does happen in this. But, thankfully, all that nonsense has been cut out because of a recent trick. Or at least a recent setup. I wouldn't say it's a recent trick, but yeah, we'll get to it. Also, that wall does not exist. You just kind of do a Rocket Excel and a kick, and bypass it. And that's exclusive to the GameCube version. All the other versions of the game, that wall is very much solid. It's very weird.
There's that switch again.
There are a lot of weird version differences with this game. PlayStation 2 version you don't want to ever touch because there are a lot of frame rate issues. Xbox version is about the next best thing to GameCube. Then the PC version, it's classified as a different game on SRC because, yeah, PC version is basically a sort of beta version. So yeah, so right there I want to use the 18 Blast so I can get this after effect of using supersonic thunder shoots, which basically kills enemies instantly. So yeah, it would have killed the giant egg golem like creature. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's the egg hammer. I think that's what it's called. But that egg hammer has a helmet on it. That means you'd have to actually knock him down in order to kill him, and that's very slow. So we just kind of use that supersonic thunder shoot.
Leave it to me. Let's go.
So yeah, right there, that's a very weird little trick you can do just by thunder shooting your characters. Alright.
Hey, we may be able to do triangle jumps since it's so narrow here. Got it.
Leave it to me. Let's go.
Alright, so right here, normally you're supposed to, like, hit a few switches, but, yeah, there's actually an incomplete trail of rings there, because the devs got a little lazy. So yeah, normally you're supposed to do all these sections as like, oh, this section is for Sonic, this section is for Knuckles, this section is for Tails. But right here, we can just actually just clip into the cage using this egg hammer. So yeah, that skipped a lot of nonsense, and I'm glad that's in the run,
Piece of cake.
because those sections are very annoying to go through.
Perfect.
Alright, so now we're coming up to the second enemy. It's enemy rush, but that's a robot storm. I'm going to try and do this little cutscene glitch again. Hopefully I can get it.
Trying to
Ah,
stop us now.
unfortunately I didn't get it throughout the run, which is sad. But basically what would happen is I'd pull off a blue tornado, and basically the cutscene models will be thrown off, and it'd make it look like all of my team, everyone in the cast is headless. So it'd be very funny to show off, but unfortunately I did not time it right.
Too cool.
It's basically frame perfect.
Leave it to me.
So like Robot Carnival, I need to make sure I get a certain level for each character.
Too cool.
But yeah.
Leave it to me.
Got it.
Unfortunately, I made a mistake here where I led Knuckles with the T-Blast, which means I could not have gotten a
Smash them all. Got
Leave
it.
it to me.
no. Oh, okay. I kind of lost my train of thought there. I was kind of concentrating, but since I can't get a Knuckles power core when Knuckles is in play, that means okay, now I got a level 2 Knuckles. Okay, so now Knuckles can basically kill everything. But yeah, I can't pick up a power core with Knuckles if I kill the 5th robot with him. I have to let Sonic or Tails do so.
Too cool.
Not bad. Yes.
Alright. So yeah, I guess I should probably mention this, but World record for this game is actually held by Green David Deku, who has a 51:43. I believe that's what it is right now. The record is kind of swapped in and out of from him and Critical Sid. But yeah, I currently have 4th place with this game at like a 57:15. I'm only like 6 seconds away from 3rd place, so I don't know. Just felt like throwing that out there. So basically, this run could get crazier. I must note that times for this game are actually tracked in-game time through the files. So real time is never really considered except for super hard mode because you have to go through all this nonsense to unlock it in the first place. So it's the only category that's tracked through real time. And the fun thing to point out about super hard mode, it's actually faster to run it on the PAL version. Because you can set the game to run at 60 Hertz, which makes the game run at 20% faster speeds. So it makes things a lot harder, but whew boy, that saves a lot. It does save a lot of time. Fortunately, nobody runs it on PAL because of how difficult it is. Alright, so this is Egg Fleet. This is a rather fun stage until I hit the bot boost. And I've been practicing this and I've been getting it pretty consistently, but if I miss this bot boost, I will lose, I believe, over 40 seconds. It is a very costly bot boost. But yeah, so right there I transferred a lot of speed from the rail, and it basically allowed me to bypass the trigger for the door to raise up. So that's a neat little skip. Oh, unfortunately, that was not what I wanted to do. I want to actually go up here. That was a little silly. Carry a lot of momentum up here. I want to not homing attack right there, or I'll just kind of attack the cannons, and that's slow. So, coming up here is a really interesting strat where I'm going to be running on the side of the airship. So yeah. And now we got an auto-scroller. Alright, so pretty straightforward auto-scroller, just go up or down. So this is the checkpoint that I will hit, and if I die from the bot boost, I will come all the way back here. So yeah, and I have to go quite a ways away to get up to the bot boost for this stage. So if I Blue Tornado right here, it'll just target the cannon, and I can just kind of bop on this enemy, and yeah, I just skipped the whole mess of stuff. So yeah, game wants you to fight that robot. No thank you. I'll just kind of hop over here. Alright, messed that up a little bit. Normally I'd just be able to clip up and glide through that. Just keep all my speed. Alright, so I'm going to be setting this bot boost up here. Okay, that should be good. So basically what I would do here is I'd be skipping a whole auto-scroller, or half of an auto-scroller. Ooh. I came up short. That's unfortunate. I would have liked to land on that airship right there. But yeah, I come all the way back up here. So yeah, that's arguably the hardest bot boost in this run, because of how weird it is when it comes to being set up. It's obviously the most costly. So I'm not going to try for it again, but since y'all kind of got the picture of what it was supposed to land, but it actually kind of cut halfway into the auto-scroller, where in the auto-scroller they give you the option to just kind of drop down and land on an airship to get some extra goodies, and there would just be an extra propeller there, which is convenient for us, but unfortunately that had to happen. Unfortunately I did not kind of mess up my movement there, but that's fine. I can land up on the fence here. Oh. This is a little weird. Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna forget about that bot boost. It's not worth it. I want to actually finish this run, because if I mess it up, it'll just waste more time. So yeah, it would be skipping all of this, and then basically this little start of this auto-scroller here. Oh, did it? My bad. That tends to happen sometimes. I've been named to get... I think that's actually my splitter that does that. Thankfully, I actually ordered a new splitter, but unfortunately it didn't come in time. So yeah, this is the only part of the auto-scroller I would see if I had landed on the bot boost. Indeed, I added the cheat codes. I am a filthy cheater! Except not really. So I don't do that. Oh. Okay, so this is just basically a repeat section from that checkpoint that I restarted from for the bot boost. Just pretty much do the exact same strategies. Except, not get hit by cannons. But yeah, that's Egg Fleet. So now we're down to the final stage, which is Final Fortress. And we've got one more bot boost to go through. And I'm not going to say it's the hardest one, but it's probably the hardest to land. Because you need to land on a rail from a very high distance, and sometimes the camera will not show you where you are. So it can be pretty scary, but hopefully hopefully the camera will cooperate once I get to it. Oh, that was very strange. I wanted to get a extended kick there, but didn't get it. which is fine. It's not a huge deal. So, oh, whoops, I kind of choked it up there, but that's fine. Normally the game wants you to fight that robot, but screw that. We're here to go fast. Alright, so we're just gonna drop down to this area right here. I don't think most people know about this route here. So we're just gonna fly, just sort of skip a little bit of nonsense there. Alright, so from doing fire dunks at a specific distance there, I can just easily chain the fire dunks without Sonic getting knocked out. Alright, so I'm going to do a rail switch here. Unfortunately, I timed it a little bit strangely, but worked out. I want to avoid hitting the rainbow rings there, because rainbow rings can be a bit slow and will lock your animation. Just gonna do some triangle jumps there. So you can just do a lot of unintended things here, like get enough speed to do a hop and get up to this rail. Then hop down here. You can just kind of skip a whole section where you just need to hit switches and fight a bunch of egg hammers, which is very tedious. So right here I'm going to drop down on a robot, and hopefully this E2000 will play nice. Okay. Okay. This is good. I can actually hit this for granny strats. I can land on this ledge here, surprisingly, and I can regain my flight. And yeah, we're on the final section. This section can be very scary if you don't have enough speed, because you can easily be sniped by this final laser, especially on super hard mode. So yeah. And Team Dark. So yeah. Alright, so now we're on to the final boss of Team Sonic, and that is Egg Emperor.
I didn't use all my strength.
I'm going to say don't blink, because normally this is a boss that a lot of people tend to have trouble with and will take a lot of time up, but this is going to be surprising. You can beat this boss in under 20 seconds.
This time you won't get away!
Give it up.
This looks like checkmate, Doctor.
Enough of this. Sonic, Tails, Knuckles. I am your maker.
So I'll just kind of let this boss speak for itself. Hopefully I can get this right. There's a good chance I can mess this up.
Okay!
No worries.
Level up! Let's go, stay!
We're the stars of this party.
Ah,
Three of us are
okay.
unbeatable.
Almost it. And time.
Victory.
Sorry, I forgot to almost say it was time on that. If I was a little late. My bad.
Defeated? Impossible. No!
But basically what just happened was I picked up a level 2 Tails cores, and what happens is when Eggman is backing up, the Thunder Shoot will just keep latching back on Eggman's core there, and you can just instantly chain him to death. So yeah, 108.45. Okay, that would actually be about a 103 in in-game time.
Not really.
So it's about 5.5 minutes subtracted off RTA.
Well, maybe you're right.
So yeah,
Thanks, Knuckles.
pretty decent. I would have liked to have a sub one time in a marathon, but oh well. This game tends to be pretty mean sometimes. You can lose a lot of time. But yeah. So yeah, that was fun. Thank you, Boix, and the entire crew for letting me showcase this run and as the finale. Hope everyone had a fun time. And yeah, I will see you guys around.